Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
This is KiniNews. I'm your host Prasad. MACC's press conference yesterday ended up raising more questions and even caught the attention of the Securities Commission. Now, Azam Baki will have some explaining to do. The Securities Commission will be contacting MACC Chief Azam Baki after it admitted that his brother had used his name to purchase shares. In a statement this evening, the SC said it will be speaking to Azam for an explanation and to verify statements made, as well as to gather any relevant evidence. The SC pointed out that under Section 25 of the Securities Industry Act, every security account opened with a central depository must be in the name of the beneficial owner of the deposited securities or in the name of an authorized nominee. In addition, it said Section 29A stipulates that all dealings in securities shall be effected only by the beneficial owner of the securities or an authorized nominee. Previously, Azam faced pressure to explain his ownership of millions of shares in two publicly listed companies in 2015 and 2016. In a press conference yesterday, it was revealed that the shares were purchased in Azam's name by his younger brother, Nasir Zaki.
Sebenarnya, tiada keperluan pun kalau saya nak jelaskan kepada sesiapa. Seperti mana yang telah saya jelaskan kepada pengurusi LPPR dan juga ahli-ahlinya. Pembelian saham itu bukan dilakukan oleh saya, tetapi oleh adik saya yang meminjam akaun saya pada ketika itu. Namun, apabila saya diminta untuk menjelaskan perkara ini kepada lembaga LPPR, saya telah berbuat demikian dan saya telah memberi keterangan terperinci kepada mereka. Sebagai KPSPRM, saya adalah answerable hanya kepada LPPR.
However, the press conference has opened a can of worms, with the opposition accusing MACC's Anti-Corruption Advisory Board Chairperson Abu Zahar Ujang of acting beyond his authority. Kepong MP Lim Lip Eng also said the admission could constitute a possible violation of the Securities Industry Act. Azam Baki may have insisted that he did nothing wrong, but some NGOs are not convinced. This is why Pembela is asking him to step aside to allow a probe to take place. Azam Baki has been urged to step down as the MACC Chief Commissioner during the course of investigations carried out against him for alleged corruption. The call was made by the Islam Defenders Associations, also known as Pembela. The NGO added that if Azam had nothing to worry about, he should be brave and gentleman enough to come forward and be thoroughly investigated. Azam recently has come under intense scrutiny after allegations surfaced about him having owned shares in two companies back in 2015. In a press conference yesterday, Azam said his brother used his trading account to acquire the shares in the two companies in 2015. The shares have since been transferred to his brother Nasir Baki. Meanwhile, the National Association of Malaysian Muslim Students demanded a Royal Commission of Inquiry to be established to look into all cases involving MACC leaders. They added that MACC Corruption Prevention Advisory Board Chairperson Abu Zahar Ujang's statement on the matter did not fully restore the public's concerns over MACC's transparency. At a press conference yesterday, Abu Zahar said the advisory board was satisfied with Azam's explanation.
Pembelian saham-saham tersebut dibuat di pasaran saham terbuka, open market, dan tiada sebarang pencanggahan kepentingan bagi pembelian saham-saham berkenaan pada tahun 2015. Walau bagaimanapun, kesemua saham-saham tersebut telah dipindahkan semula kepada Nasir Baki dalam tahun berkaitan.
The MACC ran an ad on corrupt practices in the medical field, but they were told to clean up their own backyard first. That's gotta burn. The MACC has withdrawn an advertisement depicting a corrupt doctor selling bogus medical certificates. The MACC said the video clip was based on a true incident and was not intended to disparage the medical profession. The video in question appeared on MACC's social media accounts and as of yesterday morning had been viewed more than 700,000 times. Following this, the Malaysian Medical Association said the video clip was distasteful and disrespectful to those in the medical profession. According to the MMA, the MACC should clean up its own backyard first. In a statement today, the MACC added that it appreciates all the efforts, sacrifice and contributions of all medical practitioners, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Graphbuster said in view of this, based on values of responsibility and unity, the MACC has decided to withdraw the video clip to protect sensitivities and harmony. The government doesn't have enough money to pay over 100 athletes. This is why they've been dropped, but one MP wants to know why they didn't just fire a bunch of ministers. 144 athletes have been dropped from the National Training Programme. This has sparked outrage. Among those against the move is former Deputy Youth and Sports Minister Stephen Sim. According to him, political appointees and officials should have been dropped instead. He also blasted Youth and Sports Minister Ahmad Faisal Azumu for failing to defend the interests of the athletes concerned. In a statement, Sim said it's better to fire 10 ministers and 10 deputy ministers who have failed than to drop 144 athletes who have contributed to the country. The termination of the athletes under the National Sports Council training program came after Budget 2022 saw the sports sector allocated only 244 million ringgit. Former diving world champion Cheong Jun Hong, who was dropped, promptly announced her retirement. Now we have a message from our sponsor. When we're back, the Perak Religious Department wants to speak to a certain bomoh.
Pening, tangan dan kaki kebas, letih. Ini mungkin tanda peredaran darah kurang baik. Cubalah Thomson Activated Ginkgo dengan teknologi aktivasi dari Jepun yang menghancurkan ginkgo biloba dan melekat pada dinding usus untuk penyerapan lebih baik bagi membantu memperbaiki peredaran darah. Kawalan kualiti memastikan ia mudah larut dengan daun muda ginkgo dari Jepun. Untuk peredaran darah yang lebih baik, cubalah Thomson Activated Ginkgo. Ini adalah Medifax untuk Thomson.
He's back, the only person in the world to have used bamboos as binoculars and coconuts as tracking devices. He first made his national appearance to supposedly help search for Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 in 2014. And now Raja Bomo Ibrahim is back. This time to supposedly ward off floods at Dataran Pengairan and Saliran Teluk Intan. It didn't go unnoticed by the Perak Islamic Religious Department after the ritual went viral on social media earlier this week. The department said it will summon the shaman. Department Director Muhammad Yusuf Hussain said apart from the man, his department would call other individuals involved in the incident to assist in the investigation under Section 14 of the Perak Sharia Criminal Enactment for defaming and insulting Islam. Muhammad Yusuf told Bernama yesterday that people are advised not to be influenced by such things and stay away from practices that lead to superstition. The 25-minute viral video showed Ibrahim and a woman performing a ritual using ingredients including rice, turmeric, flowers and leaves which were then washed into the sea. In the recording, a woman known as Putri Zaleha also sang a song called Mayang Sari while placing the holy book Al-Quran in front of them. Meanwhile, Perak Police Chief Mayor Farid Al-Atrash Wahid, when contacted, said they received a report on the incident yesterday. The Omicron variant is a sneaky little thing. A study has found that the RTK test cannot detect it early. Rapid antigen tests may not be sensitive enough to catch early cases of COVID-19 infections involving the Omicron variant, according to a study. The authors of the US-based study said this is due to Omicron's shorter time from exposure to infectiousness and lower infectious doses sufficient for transmission. The study analyzed 30 COVID-19 cases between December 1st and 30th in New York, Los Angeles and San Francisco. Due to workplace requirements, these individuals had undergone daily COVID-19 PCR and RTK-AG tests. During PCR testing, S-gene target failure was detected in 29 cases, which is highly suggestive of the presence of the Omicron variant. The researchers found that on day 0 and 1 of a positive PCR test, all antigen tests used in the study produced false negative results, even though 28 of the cases already harbor enough of the virus to be infectious. Moreover, at least 4 cases transmitted the virus to other people in between false negative RTK test results. It took around 3 days from the first PCR positive results for RTK-AG tests to start reporting the correct results. Kyrie, the face of Malaysia's vaccination drive against COVID-19, has rubbish claims that he hasn't been vaccinated. Health Minister Kyrie has denied claims on social media that he is unvaccinated against COVID-19. he was responding to a screen capture of his vaccination details on vaccinecovid.gov.my, which showed that the first dose was still in progress. The post was accompanied by a caption that said, quote, "Not even the first dose," suggesting that he was unvaccinated. Kyrie explained that the vaccination appointment database on vaccinecovid.gov.my was no longer maintained after the Health Ministry took over the vaccination exercise from the Special Committee on COVID-19 Vaccine Supply. He criticized the attempts to discredit the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. Kyrie reminded people that he was the first person in Malaysia to receive the first dose of Sinovac's COVID-19 vaccine on March 18th last year. He added that the second dose was administered to him on April 8th last year. He said he has also received his booster shot by Pfizer last September. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com.